She won most talkative in high school, and she has been running her mouth ever since. Welcome to the Lisa Fischer Said podcast with your host, Lisa Fischer.
Okay, so here we go. We're starting with the question that I think a lot of people are asking. Why do we have an epidemic of infertility in 2022? What is going on?
We have an epidemic of all disease.
Yeah.
Because we are living the wrong healthy lifestyle. Because the label of a healthy lifestyle is actually a manipulated, marketed lie. And we are carnivores through and through. We're not herbivores. We're barely an omnivore. And so the wrong nutrition and the wrong lifestyle that's healthy is killing us. And younger are getting the diseases. And women certainly are feeling menstrual disorders, PCOS, endometriosis at younger and younger. And young girls are getting the menstrual period younger and younger because a plant-based diet basically is deadly for humans. That's a simple answer.
Okay, we're done. Thanks for stopping by. No, there is a whole lot more we have to tackle. The one thing I'm really seeing are these young girls with, and they're not always overweight, because this is what I need to know. What comes first, the insulin resistance or the PCOS?
Well, there's no such thing as insulin resistance. There's only hyperglycemia.
Okay.
It's okay. Glucose goes up, insulin goes up.
Right.
You don't have resistant insulin. You have hyperglycemia.
Oh, I see.
Every plant contains sugar, and most food you eat takes days to digest. That means sugar is being secreted in your bloodstream all the time. Pretty much before you're born, your mom's been eating full-on sugar diet, deadly, and then you're fed a soy-based formula most of the time, deadly. Mm-hmm. And then once you're done with that, they're feeding you Cheerios and all sorts of plant-based snacks in order to make you healthy, which ultimately is killing you slowly. And that's the unfortunate part. So glucose is the cause of disease, not insulin. There's nothing wrong with your insulin. The job of insulin is to make fat in the liver.
Right. Done,
simple. That's a job. Because the only energy for the mitochondria is fatty acids. That's the only thing, not sugar, not proteins. And so ultimately the thing that comes first is the toxic diet. Eat a toxic diet, you're going to get a disease. And I know for myself, as a child, I was suffering from migraines and bowel problems and ADHD, OCD, dyslexia, and everything. But, it was just kind of normal. That's just a human experience. That's all.
And we're saying not anymore. You can reverse that by what you put on your fork.
You better believe it. And if you want to eat with your hands, go at it, because ribeye steak and eating rib is like fatty meat is it.
What made you have this epiphany? Because, traditional Western medicine follows big pharma and big food say. So I know you have some haters out there because you're not following the line. So when did you?
They're going down the wrong street, and they're disturbed in their teachings. This is a expert review by the American Journal of OBGYN from this year, the date May of this year. Okay. American Journal of OBGYN, and basically they are recommending a pure-on fruit, fiber, vegetables, seeds, and nuts healthy diet. And 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I started integrating Eastern medicine, prayer, meditation, faith into my practice, yoga and things like that. And maybe about 15 plus years ago, some of my patients were getting pregnant on paleo diet. And I'm like, okay, what's paleo diet? Never heard of it. But I started digging deep into it, because if there's something that helps my patients get pregnant without me, my job is to help them get that.
Right.
And that's what doctors are really here to do, is help people heal and not need us. And so I dug into paleo, I dug into keto, and then I tripped over carnivore. And I was suffering bowel bleeding, arthritis, psoriasis, kidney stones, migraines personally. And I'm like, I did it. I saw some guy on YouTube. He said, I eat meat only. He was ripped. He had a great energy, amazing. All his diseases went away. I did it in 1 month. Bingo, same thing. And so arthritis, everything gone, hemorrhoids, kidney stones, bowel bleeding. My energy has been through the roof. I've never been more on fire and dedicated to recognizing the number one killer is plants.
Yeah, right.
And you may not be able to see this, but plants are live organisms, and they do not want to be consumed just like a pig or a cow doesn't want to be consumed. But ultimately, they figured it out because they evolved millions of years before us, and they have more DNA than us. And so they have the poisons. And if you think about it, alcohol, heroin, cocaine, marijuana, nicotine, caffeine all come from plants.
Yeah.
And then every drug we've developed over our, remember the spice islands, the going around the world looking for the plants with the medicinal properties to heal us. Ultimately, all our pharmacology is developed from plant science. And so for me, when I learned this and I started eating only pretty much ribeye steak, and I do something called the baby's way, although this one might say the plan, but it's bacon, eggs, butter, beef, ice cream, and salt. And yes, ice cream from time to time, but not all the time. Listen, we're in the life of a treat or reward. The problem is that we're rewarding ourselves 5 times a day, and that is deadly. So when you learn to eat 1 meal a day and fatty meat, you feel better. And so my job as a doctor, I went into medicine to help people, not to hurt them. And I'm not here to make a lot of money, but the blessings that I do make a reasonable amount of money and I'm able to invest, because all of what I do in this carnivore keto world, it's all my money that I'm investing in personally. Most of my books you can get for free on my website. Download a digital version for free.
Awesome.
Go to drkiltz.com. We sell some hard copies on Amazon, but the real job is you are the doctor. You are in charge of your health and wellness. No one else is. And when you recognize the information is everywhere and it's for free, other than an internet charge or a phone charge maybe, but that's the beauty of life. As a physician, I realize that my job, and I can help infinitely more people than the 30 or 40 I may take care of in my clinic each and every day.
Right. Right. Your reach is very broad. Your social media is fantastic. We're putting links to all that in our show notes. For those of you that are Lisa Fischer Said followers on my podcast, you know that I always put the show notes. So let's talk about disease mitigation then. So from paleo, and remind me the difference, paleo, keto, and I know what carnivore is. So remind me of paleo and keto.
There are only 3 diets. There's an herbivore, an omnivore, and a carnivore. That is it.
Okay.
Be done with everything else. Everything else is a label by humanity that a keto, keto is really a high fat, low to no carb diet. Paleo is a hunter-gatherer. It's still high fat, a little less carbs, and the protein content is about 20% across the board. In my opinion, a high protein, low fat diet is deadly. It's not our natural nutrition. And so it is the problem. Like keto is confusing. What I'm really working on is my new book, which is strictly carnivore, and it's coming out very soon. We're really working diligently on Kiltz's Carnivore, and when I talk about keto, for me, Kiltz's keto is carnivore, and I call keto as an on-ramp to the masterclass, and ultimately, science is snake oil. And if you recognize that most science is propagated by someone who wants to be famous, wants to figure out something, but ultimately it's theoretical. And so, the more I realize Krebs cycle and all these metabolic cycles, someone put their name on it, and it's theoretical. It's not absolute. You know that if you don't eat for a month, you're going to get skinny and lose fat. Well, why would sugar be your energy when you lose fat? Why would your body burn sugar 1 minute and burn fat the next? Impossible. There's no effing way. It's like we don't breathe water and we breathe air. It doesn't happen that way. That's why anorexics and people that are very, very, very thin, have no fat, they die fast.
Right.
But obesity, see, everyone's trying to find out this really complicated scientific evidence why we get fat. Your DNA's change. You have all these leptins and ghrelins and all this stuff. Oh my God, help me, Lord. If you simply go to your original proper human nutrition, which is animal-based, you probably ate very little plant-based and very infrequently. That's why fruit and honey of any daily amount is not good for us.
Oh,
Because
shoot.
look at. If you're gonna do it from time to time.
Okay.
And for me, it's high-fat ice cream. Make it yourself. I've got a recipe on it, and put a little bit of cane sugar because it doesn't have all the lectins, oxalate, phytates. It does not have the other plant chemicals that come with the fruit.
I see.
And so ultimately, we are capable of converting glucose, sucrose, into fat. But eating plants ultimately brings so much sugar. Everyone forgets or doesn't even contemplate the fact that lettuce is pure on sugar.
What?
Done.
Mind blown.
Look, again, it took me a while to figure it out, but because I was so brainwashed into the standard American scientific diatribe that says again, even in my and I've been reported to the medical board.
Oh,
I've been
sure.
reported to the hospital.
That's
But
really
you know
a
what?
compliment.
More so today. And now my illustrious organization is coming to evaluate my medical practice. And I'm realizing that my patients come to me because we are open to new and different.
Yeah.
And we're not sticking with the my plate or the pyramids.
Wow.
And if you think about the pyramids, by the way, okay? The massive pyramids of Gaza,
Yes.
Giza.
Yes.
And ultimately,
Giza.
that was all about control and power and domesticating the masses. And so we are basically drawn to the pyramids to get help, but they're giving us grass and grains, which ultimately fry our brains. And we become addicted to plants because all plants contain a certain amount of opium, heroin, cocaine, marijuana.
Oh,
I mean,
my
don't you
gosh.
feel good after a really good carbohydrate meal?
Well, I want to go night.
Right, but we feel great.
Yeah,
Oh my
gives you a
God, it's
hit.
it does, because it's like a sniff of cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
It'll make you, and some people say, well, sugar gives me energy. It does.
For
but
the
it's
moment.
a drug. It's
right.
not your energy. It's a drug. It's like epinephrine surge, right? It's fight or flight. It's so simple.
Well, let's go back to insulin resistance, because I've kind of devoted my entire career as a health coach with fasting, using that term because Dr. Fung broke it down. He said your insulin does not respond, is not bringing the glucose down. What are you saying?
Okay, I will stake my reputation, my life, and $1 billion on this story because again, why would you burn sugar 1 minute and fat another? Explain it.
Okay, so you're either a sugar burner or you're fat burning, right?
Right, but we're a mammal, and
Yes.
our cells, our mitochondria, requires acetyl-CoA. So acetyl-CoA is the precursor to make ATP. And you have sugars everywhere in your cytoplasm.
Uh-huh.
Now, glucose, galactose, mannose, fructose, fucose, and they're glycans. See, people don't understand sugars are for glycosylation. Glycosylation means, this is simple terms.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's heard the term glycation.
Right.
Glycation end products. Glycation is the abnormal binding of a sugar to anything.
So we don't want glycation.
No, you want glycosylation. See, you're alive because of sugars. You will die without a sugar. But it's not for ATP production. It's for the binding to a protein to make that protein functional. That's called glycosylation. Translational and post-translational addition of a sugar to a protein. It is the most critical thing your body requires. No one knows about glycobiology and glycobiome, the glycome. Again, it's a really radical concept. I've talked to smart doctors that say, oh yeah, I know about it. Okay, well, what is glycosylation? Well, I don't know. I know what glycation is. Okay, now, again, insulin's job is not to put sugar into the cell. It's to make fat.
Okay. I understand that. It's a fat-storing hormone.
It's a fat-making hormone.
Oh, making.
Be very careful about it, okay? So again, we love sugar because when sugar was around forever for humans or any, it's sweet. You tasted it. Your taste buds went, okay, I'm going to eat as much as I can, right? How often can you eat one cookie or one scoop of ice cream? Almost never.
You're right.
Can't do it, right? Because you're not meant to. Because when you found that fruit tree that was sweet, you better eat it. Your cohort ate all of it. You got sick and whatever it was, but you ate it because the sugar is going right to the liver. Insulin goes up when sugar goes up.
Right.
And sugar's job in the liver is to convert the sugars to fat. That's why the liver gets fatty, because it's meant to. But because we eat sugars, remember, all plants are sugars. You eat it every day. 99.9% of humanity eats sugars every single day.
But you don't.
I don't. I eat one time a day in general. I will, and my snack, if I have one, is a piece of ribeye or a piece of salami or a piece of cheese, a little bit. But 99%, it's my one ribeye steak every single day because and it's fatty. And I focus on the fat, not on the red.
Right.
See, a high protein diet is as deadly as a high carb diet. See, carnivore it's a fativore diet, I call it. And again, the simplicity of the science, because the Krebs cycle, the Randall cycle, the glycolytic cycle, well, these are all scientific explanations. But how did they figure this out? Did like the cell is a mishmash of millions of things happening, and the speed of glycosylation and the speed of all these reactions is the speed of light.
Wow.
It is, everything is happening so fast. And there's this, so ultimately, there may be some dysfunctional insulin. Like my sister Maria, she died at 52. She had diabetes since age 4.
So type 1.
Type 1,
Yeah.
which is a bad name in my opinion. It's it's kind of like hypothyroidism. Your thyroid gland no longer is responding, so now you have to take exogenous drugs. Well, your pancreatic islet cells are no longer making insulin. Okay, well, why is that? The likely reason is a glycome from a virus or a plant lectin, which are glycoproteins, which are killing us. And so your insulin is fine. Again, we have these terms. It's so difficult to get rid of them. But everyone still thinks, well, sugars are energy. I'm like, well, then what is glucose is a glycosylator. If it's for glycosylation, and that happens faster than anything you know, why can't we just give sugars over to glycosylation and let fat be the fuel for the mitochondria?
Right.
When you do that, and that's why this carnivore shit is so amazing. Like for me, my eyesight's gotten better. My energy's gotten better. I mean, I've been working out for years. I've never developed the muscles I've developed since I've gone carnivore.
Huh.
And I do light weights. I don't do anything special. Light shit. And I've never felt better, energetic. And so insulin resistance is the story.
Yeah.
But you're not resistant to insulin because you're just pumping yourself with more insulin. And what happens to you? Get fatter. And then they blame the fat on the disease. By the way, fat cells are the most amazing cells ever created because without you getting fat, you will die in the famine. You cannot survive. And when women get pregnant, they're supposed to go on a fast. Because remember, if you're eating the plants, which contain the abortification drugs and they contain birth control drugs.
Wow.
This is what's happening to us. Again, we're waiting for the scientific evidence to give us the answer, but Occam's razor says the simple answer is the one. And all I did was realize if you have liver failure, you will become emaciated and skinny. You will lose all your fat. Yet you have insulin and glucose circulating in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So wait a minute. The liver is the maker of fat. Now remember, no one eats fat. If you simply ate a bunch of fat, it goes into the lymphatics. It supplies every cell of your body with the energy it needs, and you're fit. But what is our diet? It has no fat in it. It has some plant oil, a spoonful here or there, a dribbling here or there, right? But ultimately, human nutrition has been plant-based for thousands of years. But today, we have healthy people telling us that a plant-based diet is good. But ultimately, it causes cancer.
Okay, so your sister Maria, she was 52. She died. She's had a pancreas that wasn't doing right since she was 4 years old. So all of her life. Then, I mean, does she then have organ failure?
Well, she lost eyesight. She lost her heart. Basically, she died of heart failure. She almost died about 10 years prior to that from a heart attack while she was pregnant. She was blessed to have 2 children. But the American Diabetic Association's nutritional recommendation is simply cover your sugars with insulin, which ultimately causes more damage and disease. And so Maria, I have a wall in my office here. It's got a list of all of my friends or colleagues that have died of mostly cancer. And most of them are under 50. And it reminds me every day of why I do these conversations, because in my opinion, they were eating a standard diet. They did, and also too much exercise is not good for us. That's a whole other conversation.
Right.
But when I realized the world turns upside down by oh my gosh, it's Richard David Feynman. The World Turned Upside Down.
Okay.
It's a great book. I read it probably around 15 years ago or something like that, plus or minus, and it said carbohydrates are not required for the human diet. I never heard that before.
Yeah, that was an early thought leader.
And I was like, whoa, okay. Well, then let me see what it would be like to go on no sugars. When you eat meat, fat, a fat cell contains a membrane. The membrane has proteins in it, and it has sugars on it. Those are called glycans. Those are the barcodes, the key to every lock of your body. Your blood type is determined by a sugar label. Sugar labels. The COVID virus, it mutates by changing its sugars on the outside. And so when our sugar layer is damaged, and we have a glycobiome, we have a layer of sugars in our bowel, that's a mucopolysaccharide layer that protects us from the outside. Because we eat a low-fat diet, it disrupts it, allows the microbes to grow and do whatever they want to us. And that's the deadliest thing that happens to us. So my theory is, again, that insulin is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make fat. And then, we've given people the wrong advice in eating 3 to 6 meals a day, go low carb, eat all the salad you want. Well, wait a minute. Fruits and vegetables, seeds and nuts are all carbohydrates. And broccoli, asparagus breaks down to sugar. And then if you look at all the evidence on plants make poisons, they make oxalates, phytates, lectins, and they have all the cancer-causing agents within them. If you didn't know this already, the majority of cancer-treating drugs come from plants. They're extracts of plants. And for thousands of years, we've been searching the world for medicinal plants and mushrooms. We not only use those as medications and drugs, but we use those as poisons to kill people, to kill things. And remember, chemotherapy, I'm going to give you a drug to kill you, but just before it does, I'm going to withdraw it. Right. And I'm going to hope it doesn't kill you. But in many people with cancer that get chemotherapy, they get a secondary cancer later on. Right. Because one is they took that drug and they're on their same diet. Because the healthy diet, according to my illustrious mentors, and really smart people, by the way, and I have all respect for them, but we are very, very, very biased, blinded, and judgmental in medicine and science.
And we've been kind of trained that way. I mean, for years, we exhorted the medical field in such a way. But now I think COVID taught us a lot, Dr. Kiltz, on not blindly following what we were told. I mean, I didn't, because my parents were lawyers. My dad was a lawyer, and they sued a bunch of doctors. So I was always skeptical of the medical community. Though I'm a patient because of autoimmune conditions, which I reversed with carnivore. I mean, which is crazy. But for years we did say, let your children grow up to be doctors and lawyers, And now we also feel the same way about lawyers. But Don't you think that COVID taught us a lot about just blindly trusting than science?
Science is no different than marketing. I'm sorry. I look at you trust all humans, but all humans are alike, and so ultimately we're all a little biased into what we believe is the right answer.
Yeah.
And I'm going to share something in my beliefs, even though the data might not show it exactly, but I can move it around and I can in some way make it fit. And that's the problem, because ultimately money becomes the master. And that's our problem, all of our problems, right? And so we want to look good and feel good and master the life, be at the party and all this stuff. But ultimately, number one is God, and God is within all of us. And you have faith and understand that the power of God is critical. I wear this always. This is the master that I wear always. And when I forget it, I grab it. And I have my Bible I read every day.
So what is on your necklace?
I've got the cross.
Oh, I see.
JC.
Yes.
I've got St. Christopher, and I got my ring to the person that I'm committed to. And so what I've learned in life is in medicine, science, I mean, I believed in all the science until it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And then I see maybe we're pushing an agenda to make more money. And now it's all about, and again, no disrespect to the adventure capitalists and the money people and the marketing people and the doctors and the scientists. We're all working to figure it out, because when you believe in one thing, but an opposite thing is truth. What is it called? Cognizant dissonance?
Yes.
Right? I believe this, but ultimately this, and I'm going to fight for this as much as I can, because that's our humanity. That's our survival. And when you realize that the brain is very, very unyielding, it just doesn't want to budge. And so, I see a lot of opinions say, Kiltz, you're crazy. And I agree with them. This is the craziest thing I've ever learned.
Yeah.
And until the day I die, whether it's tomorrow or in 50 years, I don't know what it is, I will speak these words, because what I've learned is a game changer. I don't have any bowel bleeding anymore. No hemorrhoids, no arthritis, no psoriasis, no kidney stones. It's all gone. My brain has never felt
So you
better.
never do a treat meal then? You never do, we've been implementing like Saturday nights, we'll have a glass of wine and I might have some pasta. But you don't even do that, do you?
No, my treat, okay, so I do a glass of wine rarely, but it's only a glass, if not less than a glass. Right. I sip a martini. But I really believe that if you have a sip to time, that's okay. But a full glass is not good in general, in my opinion. I'd see ice cream. I'd rather go to the white sugar, cake or cookie or ice cream, because I believe like alcohol, it's a toxic chemical, right? And pasta, okay, a little bit of pasta, but don't have whole grain, real semolina wheat, right? White, really shit, and put a lot of butter. And put some really great ham in there or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that, right? Some people, though, but you got to heal the bowels first. The glycobiome is damaged. That layer, that mucopolysaccharide layer is damaged. And so you can't tolerate it as well. But once you allow this to heal, it might take a month, 2 or 3 to heal it by fasting and fatty meat and 1 to 2 meals a day. I even gave up coffee.
Because it's a plant?
Well, it was hard to give up a plant like that, but I did it 2 months now. And I'm working no alcohol this month. We'll see how well I do. But again, I would say that those are from time to time things. They're not the thing that's going to bring you down in general. Okay. But if you have an anaphylactic reaction to a seed, a nut, a fruit, or vegetable, it can bring you down fast.
Sure.
So I would say that a little bit of pasta here and there, some really great sourdough bread with a ton of really great butter on it.
Yeah, how often would you do that? That's my other thing is I do love some sourdough bread.
Maybe 4 times a month. You got to. This is look, I'm 66, and my grandmother lived 104. My parents 94.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
I have good genes. Yeah. But some of my relatives have died younger. And so I think the genes are perfect, but the drink and the drudgery of what we eat is the cause. And again, well, I know someone who lived 104 and was a vegan. Well,
Right.
look at people who smoke. Most people do not get lung cancer, 10%. So it's okay. And you've got to do what you've got to do. This is not to say everyone needs to do this, by the way. This is just, if you have a disease and you want to know what you can do to reduce or eliminate the disease, carnivore and fasting is it. And when I say carnivore, it's 80% of your calories should come from fatty meat and 20% from the lean meat, really. And again, the word, I say fativore is really what we are.
I love that. What about the book that was out a few 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago now? Eat Right for Your Blood Type. So I'm like A positive. It said I should be a vegan. I am soaring as a carnivore. So that, I guess we throw that book out too.
Lies, damn lies, and statistics. And look,
right.
we can all tell our story. It's every religion
Yeah.
of the world and every political organ. We all have our story. I did this and you got this. I mean, and so, I was propagating. I didn't care about the diet. I was telling everyone to meditate and do acupuncture, yoga, meditation. And someone would say, Kiltz, you're crazy. You got to come over to the carnivore side. And I'd say, that's crazy. I'm not doing that. So ultimately, that's the beauty of life. We're sharing a story that might be right for you, it might not. It's okay,
Right.
whichever way you want to go. But your cells burn fat. They don't burn anything else but fatty acids. You need amino acids and glycans for
Okay.
making glycoproteins. And without a glycoprotein, you die, and you die fast.
So the meats have all the amino acids we want. So this is the vegan community has to supplement like crazy. They're weak, their hair's brittle, acne, and sometimes they're thin. And that's why they go, well, look at me, Gwyneth Paltrow, well, look at me, I'm thin, or so-and-so, look at me, I'm thin. But you and I don't have to supplement because we're getting it all from the meats, correct? Including, anybody who's looking for fermented foods.
Fat makes you fit.
Yeah.
If you're skinny in a famine, you're dead.
Yeah.
And so being skinny is not in our favor, by the way.
Right.
It's against us in our regular human evolution. If there's a nuclear war and there's no food for months, fat survives, and they're the fertile ones. So when we think being skinny is good, it is not. And the cause of disease is not being fat. It's what you eat. That's all it is. And there's no such thing as autoimmune diseases.
Wait, what? Okay, back up.
They're immunologic reactions to
Oh.
foreign particles. And the foreign particles come from what you drink, breathe, and eat, and what gets through your skin. That's simple. See, your body is reacting to your inflammatory environment based on what gets into your body. Since it's always inflamed and it's trying to clean things up and it's never able to do it, you're just basically creating a firestorm that's destroying you fast. Autoimmune diseases do not exist. Immunologic diseases exist. So, and the beauty is we name them based on the organ system or the person who discovered it.
Right.
And so ultimately it's kind of like your car. You drive your car, it gets heated up, and the environment of the rain, the dirt, the dust, the salt, particles, even the plants that fall on them damage your car. Ultimately, it's going to damage by the same 10 things or 5 things. And then we name our problem based on the brake system, the electronic system, the manifold, or whatever it is. It's like the human body. All of your organ systems contain cells that are almost identical. And so the cells, even fat cells, they have mitochondria, and their membranes are the same. And the beauty of like a virus, the virus is a lipid sphere that contains these proteins and these sugars that they know how to fool your immune system. They know how to get into you, right? And then once they get into your cell, they spread out their DNA or their RNA, whatever they have, and they use your system to make themselves, because every single organism, micro and macro, wants to thrive and survive. And so when they get into you and your body senses a foreign invader, they're going to attack it, right? And so if you eat broccoli every day or spinach every day, they have phytochemicals and they have plant antigens, and they come with the microbes, the bacteria, the yeast, and the viruses that actually cause the disease. Right now, I'm seeing something about lettuce being recalled, or Wendy's is having an outbreak of E. coli, right? And so it's in the things we eat. And it's not the burger. See, everyone thinks it's the meat. But the meat makes the masters, and the masters don't want you to eat the meat because then you become the master. And so, and they feed you chicken, turkey, and lean hamburger meat because that's good for you. My friends, you eat the fattiest meat, you will become the master of the universe, and that's the game changer. It's really simple. And you are as smart as anyone else. You don't need a degree. You don't need a diploma. You don't need all these accolades. You are a human being. And the label of any negativity to your body or your mind is not right. And that's why this idea that we claim, well, you're fat and you're unhealthy, well, that's unhealthy to even claim that. Because ultimately, the thought that you're unhealthy makes you depressed. And what do you want to do when you're depressed? You want a drug, or you want to, or you want to eat a drink of either a bad drink or more food.
Yeah. So what do you do then with your patients who are battling issues that interrupt their fertility, and they weigh more than they should, or their fasting insulin is too high, or their A1C is too high? What terms do you use to help them get out of the mindset that though physiologically they're this way, they are really this way?
Well, if I label you as no good, are you going to feel good to be with me?
Right.
No way, right? You want to be a partner.
Right.
You want that partner, that doctor, that coach or cheerleader. No way.
Right.
But I've learned that these human beings that are any size are perfect and beautiful. If I start there, aren't you going to be feeling better about that health person you're with?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
then,
sweet.
again, now I don't tell anyone to lose weight ever, because your weight is not the cause of disease.
Right.
What you eat is the cause of your disease. Now, how many people want to go carnivore? Well, everyone does, in my opinion, but they're afraid because they've heard so much about cholesterol as the cause of disease. Cholesterol is the healthiest thing you have in your body, and that is it. It's a man-made disorder based on a lie of Ansel Keys, and the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors. They keep on measuring your cholesterol and LDL and triglycerides. Stop it. Done. But basically, my job is to inspire people. So I've written a book on keto. Okay. I start there. And I have something called a family building guide.
Okay.
Which I basically talk about this also.
You're a prolific author. My goodness.
My ideas are flowing, but I have a lot of team members to help me put it together so it looks good. You know,
I understand.
I spew out the ideas. I pull out the papers. And it's like, we got to write this and talk about this. I mean, my team is amazing. You know, I do not do it all myself. And so the claim of that is wrong. But, you know, again, can you really eat just bacon, eggs, butter, beef, ice cream, and salt and be healthy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I've got plenty of people, they don't lose a pound, they get pregnant, healthy baby, healthy life, and they feel amazing. And now for so many of them, they lose 25, 50, 100 pounds. 200 pounds gone fast and easy because I give them positivity. Now, everyone doesn't do it. And many people think I'm nuts. And even if you're a vegan or vegetarian or Mediterranean, if you at least go to keto, one meal a day, you will be in the very best way. And you want to eliminate the variety. You cannot have boyfriends and girlfriends along with your wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend. And variety and spices are deadly. You really, really, really want to be very narrow if you want that arrow to hit the target every single time. But the mindset is the master, right? You have to play with the mind.
Yeah, I love
and so my job is to tell people, you are amazing, you look beautiful. And listen, you may think being overweight is the cause of disease, but what if that is wrong? Polar bears that are skinny can't get pregnant. They get a little bit fat, they get 1 baby. A little bit more fat, they get 2. They get a lot fat, they get 3. And then they hibernate for months, gestate. They lose fat. They lose no muscle mass, no bone mass. They do not piss, poop, or eat throughout that gestation. And so the realization that we're all saying, oh, you're going to lose body, you're going to lose muscle mass, or the muscle mass and the bone mass is lost because of a plant-based diet. That's
wow. I think the greatest day for me in realizing when I switched over in July of 2022, listened to Paul Saladino's book as we were driving out west, started reading the materials, is that I never have to order a salad again. I have chewed and chewed and chewed salads for so many years to no avail. And my hip, like I told you before we started recording, my hip bursitis is gone. So something's working.
Well, again, for me, I used to be a crazy runner and biker and swimmer and weightlifter. I looked good, but I was hurting everywhere. And my best friend Dave died, a doctor, 52, of cancer. He was a healthy guy. And I'm like, and Sarah Hallberg died recently, lung cancer, Peter Attia's show. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. They're eating plants. Again, this is why a little bit of a plant of any frequency or a lot at any one time may be the killer. And you're a lion. Why would you eat like a pig, cow, or sheep? Like, do you need it? No. Again, if I'm gonna like treat, I'm gonna have an extra lobster dipped in a ton of butter, or I'm gonna buy an A5 Wagyu, the most expensive steak. Like, that's where I go. I don't buy that expensive wine anymore. I just don't even touch it anymore because I don't need it anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
And so you're right. Again, fruit, I'd rather put in a spoonful of sugar to my ice cream instead of fruit.
Okay.
And again, there's no such thing as autoimmune disease. Insulin resistance does not exist. Glucose is not the energy for the cells.
Wow.
And excessive exercise is deadly.
I see all those things, but I'll be 60 in a few months. I totally get it now. I think in my 20s and 30s, I didn't know. I mean, we didn't know better, but I ate Pop-Tarts and Cheetos too because I counted them out for calories. I mean, how dumb.
You don't count a calorie anymore. Like, I don't even know what a calorie is.
Yeah,
my bet is
wonderful?
no one knows what a calorie is. That's why we're dumb. We're just dumb. They tell us one thing, we believe what they say, and then we follow it. We're on these low-calorie diets, and yet we're getting fatter and sicker. So
and on the treadmill, people on the treadmill all the time getting fatter and sicker.
It's horrible. And listen, I'm to blame in this because I'm a Western-trained modern doctor. Yeah. That's what I did. James Salisbury, Salisbury steak guy, Henry James Salisbury. I can't remember his first middle name, but he actually was a doctor in the Civil War, and his men were dying of dysentery. He put them on an all-meat diet and coffee, and they all healed up. And he is a microscopist and a chemist. Smart guy. Listen, we're looking for some modern answer. Get rid of it. You don't need it. Listen, you know how you feel. I did this at 55. I'm 66. I'm not turning, or I'm like, what's my job? I went into medicine when my sister was sick. I realized that I needed to do something. And I went into medicine to help people. I didn't go into medicine because I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to be famous or anything. I do not want to be famous. I don't care about money. My job in life is if I can do something that cures you without me. And that's why the new carnivore book's coming out. I love Saladino and all these people inspire me. But, again, don't do my ice cream every day. From time to time. If you're going to have fruit, from time to time. Honey, from time to time. Okay. Now, is it once a week or once a month? You got to figure that out because you know how you will feel. Now, if you're the type of person that has a little bit of honey or fruit or sugar in your ice cream and you then have it every day or you like go on a craziness, don't do it. You're in charge of your, and by the way, when you get rid of the vegetables, fruit, fiber, seeds, and nuts and the sugar, your brain is no longer damaged from the glycation. Remember, glycation is the exposure of your brain to sugar. Your brain does not use sugar for energy. It uses fatty acids. That is it.
Boy, we've been lied to about that.
Well, again, but even my science friends tell me, oh, Kiltz, you don't know what the shit you're talking about. You're right, I don't. But why would you go from burning sugar to burning fat? It just doesn't make any sense. Our systems are so miraculously amazing. When Karen Carpenter died due to anorexia years ago, and I still love her music. I listen to it, and I now recognize that. And if you read Michelle Hearn's book, she's amazing. Michelle Hearn, The Dietitian's Dilemma. I just read it. I love her stuff. It's an Audible book. But you're listening to the stories of people who have suffered. I'm a person who suffered. Again, dyslexic, ADHD, OCD, kicked out of school, couldn't read, my father in jail. And I grew up in LA, and you know, I became a potter in high school. I loved pottery and ceramics, but I accidentally broke my leg. I met a doctor when I was 19, hippie doctor. He inspired me to go into medicine. I wanted to go into family medicine, and then I decided to go into OBGYN. I didn't get into my first residency. I took a year of internal medicine in LA because I really wanted to be in LA. I learned a lot. I loved it. But what I recognized about internal medicine, we diagnose a disease, and we find a drug or a dissection. Now, no disrespect. I think all of us are working our very best to open up our minds. But many people chastise first, and they never listen later. You don't know what you're talking about, and the science is absolutely rock on. Hans Krebs and Otto Warburg worked in a lab in Germany, Nazi Germany. Do you think that they were trying to do anything other than please someone with their science? My bet is it may be close, but it's not exact, because all these metabolic pathways are occurring in a cellular environment that's happening all together. It's a dance. But ultimately, that dance floor is packed, but there's someone in there that's doing the most amazing dance. The music and symphony of the story of our lives is simple. Occam's razor. Mm-hmm. Fat is where it's at. And sugar, glycans. Let's use the word glycans instead of sugar. Glycans are critical for glycosylation, just like amino acids are critical for proteins. And fat is the fat. Remember, all of your body's cells are made up of mostly fat.
Right. So what are you going to tell? So my listeners right now have to go once a year to their physician, or if you're, however often you go, and they have this lab work done. Now, fasting insulin, everyone, we should be measuring fasting insulin, A1C, but then your doctor is going to say, we need to run a lipid profile. So do you throw that out? Because, you know, my cholesterol's high, but the good one, the LDL and tris are low, or whatever it is. I mean, I'm fine, but I have a healthcare provider who speaks my language. What if you have a traditional Western doctor that says, oh, that cholesterol's at 201. The sky is falling. What do you suggest?
You might have them read Gary Taub's book, Good Calories, Bad Calories. Yeah. That's the one that probably I really focused on. But again, the job of the doctor is to run the standard panels, and they all have a standard meaning. And so when you go carnivore, again, I don't go to a doctor anymore. I don't need them anymore. Although I did have my hernias. I had 3 hernias that had been wrecking me for years, and I got them fixed last year. Because sometimes you're going to, listen, we need our modern Western doctors.
For sure.
Listen, we need them. They're good. They're great. But the problem is that all the numbers are based on a plant-based diatribe.
Got it.
And so if you eliminate the plants, but you got to give it a little time, and fasting and fatty meat will change everything, in my opinion. Now, listen, I've got to tell you, don't listen to this because I'm only giving you ideas and thoughts. You have to go to your doctor for real medical advice. Okay, you're the only one that determines your medical care. Not me, not your doctor. You do. Take responsibility for your health and wellness. If you're getting something that makes you go like, well, wait a minute, I heard this, start doing the research. Start looking it out there. And we're built to go days without food. Actually, we're built to go weeks without food, days without water, and only like under 3 minutes without air. Although if you do Wim Hof's method, you might learn how to hold your breath longer. But ultimately, that's not what we're meant to do. We're meant to go, that's why we get fat. Remember, all amino acids and all sugars go to the liver and via insulin are converted to fat. If you cannot do that, type 1 diabetics cannot do that, and severe liver dysfunction patients can't do that, they die. If you eat fat, fat comes from an animal. Oils come from plants. All oils are in a bottle, by the way, and that means they're industrial created by man. Nature makes fats in an animal. Now, I guess you could go eat a coconut and get some coconut fat out of that, but I would say that we're allergic to nuts, and coconuts are just another nut in a seed, which ultimately is antigenic. Remember, all plants want to kill you, or they want to manipulate you, and essentially they are, because all of our lives are about plants. We will store their DNA. We will change their DNA. We are doing everything because we love plants. Well, plants are the predators and we're the simple prey. We'll do everything for a plant. And so, we're just little minions of idiots. No disrespect to us minions of idiots, but you got to have fun with this a little bit. I laugh about it also. Listen, if you're fine and no problems, fine. Don't do anything. But you have a medical problem or an issue you're trying to deal with, ADHD, OCD, energy, autism, I don't care what you label it. You go carnivore and 1 meal a day and eat high fat and give it 1 month, you will feel remarkably like the alpha. And that's what we're meant to be.
So we don't need the fiber from the plants to help us eliminate waste. That the meat provides that.
Okay, fiber is deadly.
Ooh.
Fiber ferments. Fiber is like steel wool in your bowels. Why would you do that? And remember, when you eat fiber, it damages the glycobiome in your teeth, which allows the microbiome to get into your teeth, your gums. See, fiber is also, a lie. Burkitt from Burkitt's Lymphoma wrote an article about fiber, and everyone liked the guy. They published it. Remember, if it's published, it's the gospel, right? Oh my God! Well, I read a paper last week that said this and this and this by an eminent expert. That's why these expert reviews that they say, by the way, in this expert review, do not do Atkins, paleo, or keto if you're pregnant. and so, but they're pushing a plant-based, because my bet is the American College of OBGYN gets money from someone. And we don't want to disrupt the boat. I mean, listen, I don't want to disrupt the boat either, but those people that work in those companies are my friends, my family, my colleagues. I too want to see them be healthy. There's always going to be a need for some of these things, but ultimately fiber ferments in the gut. What does fermentation make? What does fermentation make? Alcohol.
I was going to say alcohol.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol. All day long. Remember, from the day you're born to the day you die, your bowels are full of carbohydrates. That means you're always secreting sugar and plant chemicals into your body, and you're always fermenting. Always.
But you're not.
I'm no longer. I was.
Okay.
And I thought I was right. I thought I knew the answer. I'm the doctor. The doctor, don't bring me your computer internet ideas from that quack, like that quack, What are you talking about? What does Lisa say? Come on. Listen, I know the answer, but ultimately I've learned from my own patients. I learned this from you, from I listen to you, and I do a lot of reproductive immunology, because what's the cause of all disease? Inflammation.
Right. For sure.
The 5 causes of inflammation, only 5. Well, 99% 5. Number 1 is sugars, excess ingested sugars. And where do they come from?
Plants.
Number 2 is the chemicals made from plants. Number 3 is the antigens lectins, oxalates, phytates, and more come from
plants.
Number 4 is the bacteria, yeast, and viruses, along with the sugars and fiber, which ferments from your teeth to your rectum. And they are destroying you. They destroy the glycobiome. The glycobiome is the master. And we give all the credit to the DNA, but the DNA is just playing out for the sugars. The plants, see the plants that cover the earth, they're critical for the biome, right?
Right.
The ecosystem.
Right.
When they're gone, there's no life.
Right.
And the same thing on our cells. Without the glycobiome, the cells die. And it changes the negative charge, the sialic acid, the glycosaminoglycans, the heparan sulfate. I mean, I'll go down the list that ultimately there's a negative charge on our cells that's manifested by the sulfate and the glycobiome that ultimately is destroyed. And so when you destroy the mucus layer, now it allows all the microbes and the red cells and the platelets and the white cells to latch onto the epithelium. And then they burrow their way into the cells or into the interstitial spaces. They get into the bloodstream and they're deposited from the tip to the toe. And again, every organ is at risk of this. Some people get liver damage. Some people get brain damage. Some people get eye damage. Some people get bowel damage. Some people get ovarian or testicular damage. Some people get skin damage. But all the damage is the majority of those 4 top, and they're all from plants. And number 5 is excessive exercise.
Wow.
We're meant to do work and be creative in life.
Right.
We're not meant to run and say, I ran 15 miles. Great.
Right.
What did you build? What did you write? What did you discover? And again, I know it helps with the brain and depression, but we're depressed because we're eating a plant-based diet. So guess what happens if you look at Georgia Ede, EDE, Georgia's amazing. Look at Jordan and Michaela Peterson. They stopped eating plants. They eat steak, water, and salt. Done. The lion's diet, right? I call it the lioness plan.
Yes.
Because ultimately women rule.
That's right. Well, I'm not going to argue with you there. The Petersons, amazing, great, and I'll put that in show notes too, their social media, because as you know, he's not shy. He doesn't mind saying things. And I recently told a doctor, I called Ancel Keys, the Anthony Fauci of the 50s and 60s, that he thought he was right. He had it this way. He stomped his foot if people pushed back. You know, Fauci had a hissy fit. And I said it was that's how he was the modern day. Anthony Fauci is the modern day Ancel Keys, who gave us some really bad information. And here we are 50, 60, 70 years suffering.
Well, it's, again, the government and the experts, our experts, all right, medical experts, right? And again, the medical experts are running Western medicine and they're all essentially, it's profit. It's the masters who control the money, which ultimately determine the marketing and are putting their money into really great causes. Again, no individuals, but there are some individuals, maybe they're not driven in the right direction. And so how can we all begin to recognize, don't we want our children to live a long, happy life and be creative? Isn't that what this is all about? And so if I can find something that says, whoa, this is amazing.
Yeah, and it is. So carnivore all the way. So you're butter, beef, bacon, ice cream.
The baby's way. Bacon, eggs, butter, beef. Intermittently feasting, which means one meal a day, and I throw in the treat, which is the ice cream, but it's Kiltz's ice cream, and it's simple. It's a pint of cream, 1 or 2 eggs. You could just throw in the yolks if you want. It's a pinch of salt and a little bit of scrape of a vanilla bean, not the extract. You don't even need the vanilla bean, by the way. You can even scrape in a little dark chocolate, and then a spoonful or 2 of cane sugar. Now, you don't even need that. I'm not for stevia or the fake shit, sorry. Because our bodies, we can convert sugar And I don't believe that fructose is any more damaging than glucose or any other the sugars.
Right.
They're all basically but we use too much. We do too much.
Yes.
And it's so simple. Meditation, prayer, yoga, acupuncture maybe, but don't drink too much water. You don't need so much water. You need to eat the fat. And that's why I just go to my butter boy or Kerrygold, and I just spoonful of butter because it makes everything better.
I even have a lady here who does cultured butter for me because she churns it herself, and it is delicious out on the counter. So good. So you have to look hard. You do have to do some detective work. Do you do any raw dairy then? No raw dairy?
I do butter and cream because I think ultimately, but some raw dairy from time to time. I don't do yogurt or kefir, any of that stuff. I don't love fermented foods at all. I think they're not good for us. But I think, remember, raw milk it has the glycoproteins, which are antigenic to us most likely. I mean, a baby should suckle a breast. When you're done with that, the baby should go carnivore. That's it. Steak, steak. That's really it. And the mother, when they're pregnant, one is to get pregnant, when you're pregnant, and when you're breastfeeding. And after that, you want to be on the Lion's King plan or the Lioness plan or whatever you want to call it. Make up your own name. That's the beauty of this. This is all about creatives. Be creative.
For sure.
And you are much more creative when you do this shit.
For sure. Right. Well, I love this way of eating. Thank you for your time. Again, social media, people need to follow you. You're just your daily lives that you do on Instagram are exciting and enthralling and energetic. And so I love it. So thanks so much for being here.
God bless, Sutter. What a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Lisa Fischer Said podcast. Be sure to hit subscribe and download all the episodes and leave a review, won't you? The Lisa Fischer Said podcast is produced by ClantonCreative.com.